Hi, my name is Amy Seifert, and today I'm going to talk about our evaluation of the research models. The three I chose was Eisenberg's The Big Six, Kolthau's Information Search Process Model, and then the Big Six's Super 3 to simplify things. And since I have an early childhood, early literacy focus, when choosing a research model for a school. The 21st century calls for the new skills, knowledge, and ways of learning to prepare students with abilities and competencies to address the challenges of an uncertain, changing world. Carol Kolthau said that in her Guided Inquiry article from January 2010. Students learn through vast resources and multiple communication channels. So, in keeping that in mind, in doing this research process, um, believe that the Super 3 would be the best one to get started for students pre-K through 2. I'm choosing that one because it is so simple and it takes the Big Six's original idea and shortens it down to three processes. I also enjoy Kolthau's information search process model since it includes feelings that the students will be having and ways to control that. Um, to get a research model into your school, teachers or librarians need to get the support of the fellow teachers, a commitment from the principal and other administrators in the school district, and to develop an implementation plan on how to gain everyone's support and to have everyone involved in using the correct language for each of these processes. So I think to develop a team to help collaborate on the inquiry process would be a good idea. And then to try it out on students to see how it works in documenting everything so you can share that with the other teachers in your district. So let's go through these three processes and compare them. The first one we're going to look at is Eisenberg's Big Six. So we will zoom in here and get this started. Zooming in right now. Okay, so looking at the Big Six, first the example here, it starts off with task definition, so defining the problem and what you need to actually do in the task for the students. Then the information seeking strategies to brainstorm the possibilities and finding the best sources. This one's a good one to use for technology usage when researching. Location and access, so where to find the sources and then find the information within those sources. Use of information is step 4, so how are you going to use the information you find? Are you going to read about it? Are you going to touch it if you're cooking in a process of researching the best way to make brownies in home ec class? Step 5, synthesis. Organizing information from multiple sources and present the information. And number 6, the evaluation. How was this process, was it effective for this research process that the students went through? So those are the 6 steps here. I determined that the strengths would be this process. The Big Six helps students when using technology to complete research. It can be used whenever students are in a situation which requires information to solve a problem, make a decision, or complete a task. So the assumptions from using the Big Six is that the students will follow this process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order, and it could not be a recursive situation. It could essentially, but when students see this picture of the Big Six, they just think you have to go in step-by-step order, when in fact researching will develop new questions and they will come across things that they want to learn more about, and then essentially maybe go back to step 2 if they're on step 4. But looking at this problem-solving model that the Big Six comes up with kind of leads them to think that you can't go back through and circle up. So that would be maybe a negative about the Big Six. So let's go out here and look at Carol Kolthau's information search process model. So this one also looks very linear. starting off with the task, initiation, selection, exploration, formulation, collection, presentation, and assessment. Very linear. The one thing I do like about this process model is that it does include students' feelings in here. Maybe the confusion and frustration in the exploration stage. That's especially where students will need encouragement from teachers. But they start off, feeling anxious, and then they end up with, maybe satisfaction or maybe disappointment in the whole process, but that's okay. It lets the students know that they're going to have these feelings, and that it's okay to have feelings like optimism, and then all of a sudden confusion when you think you should be enlightened with the information you found and have clarity. But in this model, it shows that there is a confusion part. The students will need guidance and intervention throughout this whole process here. This one also has six stages of inquiry that I mentioned before. This one, like I said, looks linear, and students may feel if they come up with a question that they're not allowed to go back to the exploration stage, maybe start over. The strengths I see here is that each process of the information inquiry is documented with feelings to show students what to expect when researching. It requires guidance throughout the process, especially encouragement when students enter the exploration stage. And some assumptions that I have, that I found, is that each student will feel a specific way once the process begins. Some students may feel differently as the process is going on, and this model may lead students to believe that they can only feel a certain way. All right, now moving on to steps, third one here. It's the Big Six's Super 3. Now, I enjoyed this one because it did take what the Big Six had to offer and simplified it almost into a 3-step plan. Maybe a red light, green light, or yellow light, then a green light. The beginning, middle, and end to research. Since my focus is pre-K to maybe to second grade, that I see that they should be taught at an early age how to research and the correct ways to research about this. A negative about this plan is that it also does look linear, like a step-by-step, and that students maybe won't be allowed to go back to step 1 if they have a question. But that's up to the teacher or librarian to offer helpful advice that this process is circular, and maybe a diagram showing a circular model would be, taking this information would be beneficial for the students. So identifying these steps step by step. The strengths I see is a simplified version of the Big Six problem-solving model, and I believe it allows all students of all ages to see how inquiry can be completed simply. Inquiry should be a simple process, and students should not be afraid of doing this. Assumptions are that the inquiry research process is as simple as 1, 2, 3. A lot of times the inquiry research process is not that simple, as we have found when we're doing our research paper. Students will have a difficult time if they find research complicated, or if they get stuck in the middle of research and don't know how to complete it. The frustration stage, or the confusion that Carol Colthow had to offer in hers during exploration. Students may just give up if they're in step 2. But looking at these 3 steps, they have the plan, the do, and the review, and questions that they're going to ask themselves as they get started with this process. So in looking at these 3 models here, the Big Six, Colthow's information search process model, and the Super 3, I believe in my school building that students should be offered the Super 3 program and the model of inquiry, and taking the students through this process. I'm going to get all the teachers on board and collaborate with them to develop a program to allow vocabulary from this Super 3 program to be used pre-K through second grade, and collaborate with all the teachers to let them know that this is what we should be working on and getting the administration's approval. So thank you for listening to the evaluation of these 3 research models.